All right, you guys missed my 1, 2, 3 live, but we're live. The three amigos are just two at this point. We are waiting for Lana. I'm sure she is just waking up and getting coffee because it is early 30 where she's at in the future. But hello, everyone. And by everyone, I mean Urza. Hi, Urza. Memory Called Empire live show. It's gonna be great.
Yes.
I think everyone knows my thoughts about this book. But hello, cool gamer. Yeah. This was the I almost said June pick for Shelf Space. If you took part in the read along, buddy read, whatever it's called, awesome. I hope you loved it. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment box thing here, whatever, YouTube. I don't know how this works. But before we get into the book, I'm going to let my co-host introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Stephanie. My channel is Miss Richards Reads, and I get an amount of genres, but mainly fantasy classics and cozy mysteries. And this is my second time reading this one, and I'm very excited to talk about it.
I mean, it might be awkward because neither of us prepared at all.
Yeah.
So, and pretty much is like I read this at the start of June, and I pretty much forgot everything about it except for main character names, vague plot points. So, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
To be fair, there was a lot going on.
True. Sorry. Yeah. So I guess how did you like reread? Did it change your experience on reread at all?
I feel like my rating didn't really change. Like, it's still a solid 4-star for me. But I feel like I picked up on more stuff when I reread it. Like the stuff at the epigraphs at the beginning of the chapters, I didn't really pay attention to those last time, and this time I did.
Mm-hmm.
And just things like that. And I feel like I remember stuff a little bit better this time.
Cool. Hi, Melly. I think Melly liked it, so at least there's one. I'm outnumbered at this point, so.
Yay.
Yeah, yep, that's totally me. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Kieran. Yeah, the epigraphs, it kind of. So I know Angela says that this book does what Dune tried to do, or what Dune does, but better. And I have to heartily disagree. I don't know what kind of crack she's smoking, but I love you, Angela. Don't worry about it. High 3, yes. 5 stars. I gave it a 2, and I feel like that was generous.
I was really shocked when I heard you didn't like it, because I really thought you would, which is fair. You know, not everybody's going to like everything. But
I mean, I got to make everybody question their sanity, and apparently it sent you and Angela into a tailspin on like whether the world was right.
I know.
Who did you say have this utterly wrong opinion? That it's good? Like, is the wrong opinion that it's good? Because that would be everyone else except for you and me, Urza. So
I think the wrong opinion is that it's bad.
I mean, fight. Insert gamer fight announcer guy thing here. Anywho, yeah. So I mean, the only similarities that I see with Dune is the inclusion of epigraphs to kind of build the world in a way. Oh yeah. Wrong opinion that it's better than Dune.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Dune is Dune. So
I haven't read Dune yet. As per usual, I own it, but I have not read it yet. But
Andrew, hi Andrew.
So I have no opinion whatsoever on that.
Yeah. So yeah, I hated the book. Stephanie loved it. I guess we're done. Bye guys. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like Dune is Dune. Although I don't think you liked Dune, Kieran.
I feel like that is correct.
Yeah. It's the book. It's true. A Miracle Empire does not have an adaptation with Steen in a space speedo.
What a visual.
See, not everyone can be perfect. It's okay.
There's still hope for me because I haven't read it yet.
Hope for Kieran for you, or hope for me for you?
You for me.
Yeah. Anywho, all right. Enough preamble. I feel like I'm. Oh God, who says that in their intros? Enough with the preamble. Oh dear God, I'm blanking. I've watched a lot of BookTube today, and I heard that in the back of my mind, and now I'm saying it again. Let's just get into the book. Spoilers. Not gonna really care. Not just. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I didn't like. I
Here we go.
Okay. I didn't like the book, obviously. I see why people like it, hence the 2-star and not the 1.5 star. But like, I should have known that I wasn't gonna like it because I didn't realize that the entire premise was based on a murder mystery and finding out who murdered somebody else and if it was a murder. And I'm like, oh God bless it. As soon as I got to the dead body, I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Your anti-murder mystery?
I mean,
that hurts.
I'm sorry.
There's nothing like a good murder, you know?
I don't like it. Yeah.
That's the only way to go.
Well, I mean, your PhD is about romantic poets, right? I think, or romanticism. Maybe? I don't know. I feel like I'm vaguely in the ballpark. Yes. I normally don't love that either, and this was not the book to change my mind. So, I will say the good things about it, the things that I liked, is that actually, what did I like about this? I liked the usage of like this kind of exploration of colonialism and like the entire not Texclon. Oh God, what's it called? Again, I remember nothing except for main characters' names. So let's see.
Oh, the ship?
No. Is it the Texclon? Like that's the main.
That's the Empire.
Yeah, that's the okay. Yeah. So this idea that the Texclon are like just the evil empire, but you're like learning about the world. I don't know. I liked the idea and the possibilities, but I just didn't like how it was structured around.
I knew it had something to do with Tokarczuk. Okay.
Sorry, I cannot have a focused thought. Romantic Poets and Olga
Tokarczuk.
Books of Jacob. That seems like completely opposites, unless they're two separate theses. But the names was one of them, and the main character being a diplomat without any of the stuff that goes with something like that. Yeah, so Like, I honestly, I don't know what to say other than I didn't like it. Like, I feel so basic and so unsmart. Like, I don't feel smart.
No, I mean, sometimes you just don't vibe with a book, and that's okay.
What was
So
the
you
other
did not like the names at all? Is that?
like? I mean, I get why they name each other, but like, it didn't seem like there was any depth to the names. Hello.
Yeah, I
The prose wasn't even dry to me. It was really, really, really difficult for me to read. Like, I was reading sentences 3 and 4 times over to understand what is being said. And it's not even a case of like, oh, this is really deep or whatever. It's just like, I could not understand one word that was going after another. Like, so I wound up switching to the audiobook about, I don't know, about maybe 25% of the way through. And I was just like, all right, I just got to get through this thing. And I think actually the audiobook kind of helped because I didn't have that barrier of my eyes trying to understand the words on the page. So,
yeah, I will say the first time I read it, I listened to it on audio, and it was difficult for me to remember some stuff because, well, I think a lot goes on. But this time I immersion read it, and I felt like it was easier because I had the audio and the visual.
yeah.
Um, but it's definitely a book that you can't rush through, and that's what I did the first time because I waited till the day before the live show to read it, which was a bad idea. But I really liked the prose, but I understand why some people wouldn't.
So I had read a short story by Arcady Martin in the Mythic Dream collection, and it was a bad time. It was like a worse time than this for me. So my experience with the author did not start off on the right foot. If I had probably read this without having that story, I might have had a more positive experience. But I was already like, I didn't really like the way she put words together on this story. Yeah. But her world bit, like, again, I really liked the world itself. It was really interesting, but I don't know, just everything else didn't click with me. I'm sorry, I thought that was the cat. The main thing, again, sorry for the like total like cannot focus crackhead energy going on here. And by here I mean me with me. One thing that I really, really I feel like the entire premise and all the action and all the plot really relies on this, and I just couldn't. It wasn't believable to me. Is Iskander just going radio silent after seeing his dead body, his own body? Like that didn't make sense to me. Like he sees his dead body and all of a sudden, boom, he's traumatized and he's just going radio silent. I don't.
Yeah, I do feel like that's one thing she could have explored a little bit better because I don't have a good explanation for that, and maybe I missed it. But yeah, that's one thing that brought it down. That one didn't really make a ton of sense to me. I just went with it because I was having fun with everything else.
Yeah, I mean,
but I feel like that's definitely a valid point.
As opposed to all my other
well,
not valid.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. No, but like it's something as crucial and like that's the crux of the story. Just it made everything else surrounding it for me that much. I could have enjoyed the rest of it, but because it kind of centered on and really just depended upon this single moment,
mm-hmm.
it was a very weak basis, if that makes sense for me. Or makes sense for me? Oh dear God. If that makes sense. So
yes.
again, crackhead energy. Wasn't that because of the sabotage to the symbiote?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
See, I read it twice and I still forget stuff. Yeah.
But it seems a bit convenient that it's that sabotage. Like, did they plan the sabotage that they particularly like scraped this one area of the implant to as soon as they see the body, or is it just any time it's just going to go radio silent? I guess that's the question.
Urza has a good. Yeah.
Loki back on the station, scratch it, and him seeing himself dead, overloaded. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Because I don't recall, did they ever say or mention that the implanted memories ever saw their previous selves? Like their dead bodies or whatever? Because obviously...
I don't know if they've
memories,
ever seen themselves dead.
Yeah. Because like usually in the world they would have the implants right before they died, and then they would like sacrifice themselves or whatever, as opposed to a Iskander, which was a memory implant, was created, 15 years into their post.
Yeah. So. And they didn't have the full time to fully
like merge.
Yeah. So that was part of the issue too, I think.
Well, I would also think that this society, knowing what they do, like that they take implants from, like, they would understand that. Because I'm pretty sure, I could be mistaken, but I thought that Mahit had told Iskander, that the implant Iskander, that, hey, I'm taking over for you, you've disappeared, you're dead, or whatever. So I would think that there would be like a logic there of like understanding. I guess that implies... So again, another thing that I didn't really understand is the implants are supposed to be memories and a kind of consciousness, but there's this implication that they are a whole nother being, so they should be they would still be tied to their body. So seeing their body, and I don't know. It's
kind of confusing.
Is this book too smart for me? That's my question.
I think, like, for me personally, I just haven't read a ton of sci-fi. I'm just starting to get into it within the last year or so.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I've just started thinking about stuff like this, and stuff like that just never occurs to me. But then when you think about it, it's like memory is such a fickle thing.
Yeah. I didn't question it, but I know that feeling from other books. If I start thinking something is very illogical, it will color everything else for me. Like the million voices of soldiers in Promise of Blood.
Yes.
Promise of Blood. Blood. I didn't think the technicality matters. But it's a sci-fi. Again, technically, it's a sci-fi. So technicality kind of is like part of the genre.
It's a flawed world.
Yeah. I guess.
And it's her debut, I believe, right? Her debut novel.
Oh, really?
I think so. Like, I don't know about her short stories, but I think this is her debut novel.
Oh, okay.
So I guess that's also why I was a little more forgiving.
Fun fact, I didn't know that Arcady Martine was not her name. It's Anna Linden Weller, apparently.
Yeah, she's a...
Literally just found that out when I looked at the what is it, publication page thing.
Yeah, she's impressive.
I know that she's married to another author, but the implant and the host ideally merge and create a new personality with both of them integrated. Like, I get that, because there was a whole conversation about, like, well, Mahit, are you Iskander, what's her face? Again, I forget all of these people's names. The Iskander's like lover or whatever.
19 ads.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
She was questioning, it's like, are you, like, she was assuming that because Mahit had Iskander's implant that Mahit was Iskander. And there's that whole like crux of
it's not quite, it doesn't work quite.
Yeah. But then
and I think that's kind of what I enjoy. Like, it wasn't fully answered, and normally I think that would bother me. But I think this was just kind of a unique concept to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just found it interesting.
Like
but I also get what you're saying. I totally get that.
Yeah. I get that the book concentrates mainly on themes rather than science. I get it. But I didn't like it. It didn't work for me. It didn't work for my brain. So with that said, I felt like this was like even though it was a more thematic like exploration of colonization and imperialism and stuff like that, which like I totally got that on page. I saw the stuff that they were dropping. I was picking up what they were putting down, whatever that phrase is. I totally get that, and I really liked the world built around that to kind of show that aspect of it. But I felt like it was a harder sci-fi than what I'm not only used to, but I really enjoy. Like, I don't really enjoy hard sci-fi. So that was probably strike 2. It is like strike 1, it's a murder mystery. Strike 2, it's a hard sci-fi. It's like, oh dear God, why did I pick this book? So
that's fair.
Yeah.
I read a lot of murder mysteries, so
yeah,
that was a plus for me.
This is not a knock on murder mysteries. This is just me. It's not my preference. Stephanie loves cozy mysteries and murder mysteries. Maybe I'll try a cozy mystery one day, which I imagine would be completely different from this.
Very different.
Like the only murder mystery adjacent thing that I would like, which is, this is kind of in a way, are noirs, and I don't even like those all the time. It's really dependent.
Yeah.
I think the only noir type detective novel that I've liked. Oh, it's the bug there. Sorry, there's a bug in my house, in my office, that was here yesterday. I flicked it off my body, and it went somewhere, and I could not find it. And now I'm like, every time I feel like a little creepy crawling on my body, I think it's a freaking bug. Sorry, crackhead energy. Yeah, it's so the only kind of noir detective type story that I've really even liked is the story within Hyperion, the Detective's Tale. I really, really liked that. Did you read Hyperion?
I haven't read that one yet.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to be like, no, I hated it.
No, I haven't read that one either. I'm still just catching up on all the sci-fis.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I like softer sci-fi, like Simon Jimenez's The Vanished Birds. Like, that's a space opera, and it's soft sci-fi. It's wonderful, in case you haven't read it. Yes, Arcady Martin is an awesome pen name.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like some people like hard magic systems and some people like soft. It's just a preference.
Yeah. Totally get it. There's a real detective novel streak. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and I liked that. And I feel like it was kind of puzzly because you were kind of learning stuff with Mahit. But I enjoy stuff like that.
It's like Ken Liu, the one about the history of books, how it passed down memories to their kids. That is what the implant. Yeah, no, and there's this what was one of the things that I kind of marked when I was marking stuff in the book was this idea, like there's this kind of not quite opposing, but this kind of parallel thematic element of colonialism in the collective, where the Texkalan are, this obviously colonial, empirical entity, whereas, shoot, the name of the ship, what was it called again? I'm
It
totally
starts with an L. It's like the
what?
one name I don't remember.
Oh dear God, it's gonna bother me. Um.
LaSalle Station.
LaSalle, there you go. Is like this. It is the kind of this exploration of the collective, whether it be, this, I don't know, cultural collective, that's in opposition to this empirical entity, and preserving that identity and that collective identity and the culture there. Because they talk about, and I could be misremembering, but they talk about how on the ship, like, everything is purposeful, and if you start even starting a fire, like what is a fire? If you start a fire, like, you're gonna,
Screwed.
you're screwed, and you're impacting the entire ship, and the station. So
yeah, and just her use of resources too, like just her saying like, oh, that would be a waste of water.
Yeah, and like her seeing, was it trees for the first time and greenery?
Yeah,
I did think that was neat.
Yeah, because that's stuff I think we take for granted, as well as just like water and stuff like that too. I thought that was interesting.
I mean, it's interesting that we can disagree whether it's a hard sci-fi or not. Like, it's all in perspective. Maybe I'm just wanting it to be hard sci-fi for it to be another reason why I don't like it. Like, it's like I want, like, hard, no pun intended, I want, like, hard, definite reasons to point to why I don't like this, other than, oh, I just don't like it because I don't like it. That's not enough of an excuse for me. But that's just me.
Sometimes it just is what it is.
It's true. It's true. And I feel so bad because, especially since you guys thought I was going to love it. Oh, dear God.
Okay. We're not going to disown you yet.
Well,
and you did make up for it for next month's book, so that's okay.
Spoiler alert, Natural History Dragons was great. Urza, get out of here. Detective Tale was great, okay?
I also really like the technology that they had. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah. Did they ever mention, like, Earth in the story? I can't remember.
Not
like so far future sci-fi that Earth is not even.
I think it's so far future. I don't remember if they did, so if they did, it may not have been that big of a thing.
Oh, I just happened to flip to it. One of the last things that I noted here was, thought again of the city. Thought again of the city as an algorithm. Considered for the first time clearly that no algorithm was innocent of its designers. It couldn't be. There was an originating purpose of an algorithm, however distant in its past, a reason some human person made it, even if it had evolved and folded in on itself and transformed. A city run by Tin Pearl's algorithm had Tin Pearl's initial interests embedded in it. A city run by an algorithm designed to respond to Texkalani desires was not innocent of those same Texkalani desires, magnified, twisted by machine learning. It was at that point that I realized, oh, the city and like the police and stuff are run by an algorithm. They're not actual entities. And I was like, oh, interesting. And then this, obviously comparing it to real world, our world, algorithms are not completely unbiased. They're going to have their inherent biases by their creators.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think I haven't read that much with stuff like that, so it was just fascinating to me just to think about. and like you said, the bias of our system versus theirs.
I had another note here. I had so in case you guys don't understand my tabbing system, I tab stuff based on like thematic elements, and pink is always, oh, I really liked this. So I had 3 things that I really liked. So if we want to kind of
bare minimum
positive things. Hold on, I gotta look at.
I feel like we should have brought popcorn for this.
Well, or just some sort of, I don't know. Again, crackhead energy over here. So, let's
embrace the chaos.
It's true. It's true. Alan's never gonna let me host another shelf space book pick again.
What Alan doesn't know.
It's true. He didn't read the book, so he's not here. So, guys, don't report back to him, okay? Just give him a glowing review.
Right. What happens on the live show stays on the live.
Yeah. So the first quote that I really liked is, "Oh, pale imitation, talking in perfect meter to the blank, dumb metal of station walls, and hadn't that made her a popular and cheerful childhood companion?" So, for context, if I recall correctly, and I'm kind of surface level looking through this, I'm pretty sure this was in part in reference to Mahit's kind of, I don't want to say obsession, but like her fascination with Text Kalani poetry. And I liked that aspect of the world building where they used these kind of poetic, not even kind of, literal poetic aspects to their language. And it was like this heightened version of the language. So only the higher echelon really could communicate with each other and understand and interpret the poetry in the way that it should be. Considering poetry, I feel like is really up to interpretation, and that Mahit has this fascination with it and uses the poetry in a way that really, I remember there was a scene that they used poetry and used a couplet, I think it was, and it really just kind of like shocked the people there, because it's like, oh, you're from LaSalle Station, what do you know about poetry? Like,
yeah. But I love their fascination with it, and how that's one of the reasons I like poetry, is you can kind of play with it, and different things are open to interpretation. And I loved that they used a poem to get the message to 19 ads on the networks.
Yeah.
I just love the incorporation of language into their world building. I thought that was a really cool element.
Yeah. Well, again, that kind of, it's the sample of like the kind of coded language in a way. Actually, yeah, kind of, it is coded language, where they don't necessarily get it. The people that aren't looking for that coded language. So I really liked it. Again, I should have liked this. But yeah.
At least there were elements you liked. So there was a little bit of a positive.
Yeah. So
it wasn't completely horrible.
That's true. Well, if I didn't have to host this thing, I wouldn't have DNF'd it. I don't think I would have, because there was like those little bits that I liked. What was it? The other thing that I liked is, who was this? Oh, maybe this was 10 ads, but like, just so Mahit is, or not Mahit, Iskander, I think. There's going to be an Iskander because they were already kind of putzed at that point, I think. But either way, the line, she catches all the light in the room and bends it around herself, and like, it's I don't know why I marked that, but I just really liked just that imagery of like this character that is just so engrossing. And maybe it is like the that relationship that Iskander had with 12 ads or 10 ads. Oh god. 19 ads. There you go. Numbers. Too many of them. It's I don't know, it's just kind of how one sees someone and putting that into words. I don't know, I really liked that. So
yeah, it was very beautiful imagery. I feel like the whole is lost. I like it.
I mean, I guess. I guess. Yeah, no. If I reread it, I wonder if I would enjoy it more. But I am
not going.
I don't have a desire to reread it. If I were forced to, sure.
So, what did you think of 3 Seagrass and 12 Azaleas friendship?
It was fine. Like apparently 3 Seagrass is supposed to be funny, but I'm sorry, but I found them annoying. I'm sorry. Like they felt like that very I shouldn't say annoying. Annoying is probably the wrong word. They felt very overly exuberant about their job. Which cool, you love your job. I love that for you. But I didn't find them funny, and I guess I don't know if I had the wrong expectations. All I kept hearing is 3 Seagrass is hysterical, and I'm just like, where am I laughing here? Like, do I not get the humor?
I wonder if you would have liked it a little bit better if we hadn't hyped it up so much.
Probably.
Because I've had books like that where people have hyped it up so much, and then I was just kind of, nah. Because I'm one of those people that's like 3 Seagrass is hilarious, and I love that they call each other Root and Petal. I thought that was adorable.
I did like that, and I was a bit, actually quite a bit, shocked and very saddened when 12 Azalea died. So I was like, oh no.
Literal tears over here. And I knew it was coming. But I also cry at everything in books, so I'm not the best gauge on that.
Yeah, maybe on reread.
Fair.
So tangentially related, an author that I think does Imajos much better, or at least that kind of not parasitical, but like the symbiotic type of relationship between, I guess, people, is Octavia Butler in the Xenogenesis trilogy. So, yeah. I guess, like, because I had read that before, I was just like, she does it so much better. Why is this? It's like I've already had the best. Why? Like, I've already had filet mignon. Why would I have a steak from a roadside diner? Like, you know?
That's fair. And I have not read that series, so I don't have anything to compare it to. So maybe I wouldn't like it as much if I read that.
I mean,
there's a possibility.
Everything is like people get all so frustrated and get all like up in arms and get all heated and all that stuff about like, oh, stuff came first and like this person did this better. It's like, well, like we're all human. We're all basically like talking about the same stuff just in different ways. So like I don't know. I think I would try something else by Arcady Martin, but not this. Like this just did not work.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
I did.
And I don't think the book as a whole is funny. I think the banter, like you're saying, like I
Yeah.
wouldn't describe it as like a funny book.
Yeah, like I got the banter. Like I thought they were gonna be like actual jokes, so I liked the banter. Like if I was just focusing on that part, I liked the banter between them, and not only between Mahit and Three Seagrass, but Three Seagrass and everybody. Like I feel like Three Seagrass pushed buttons for everybody, in a good way. So yeah, like again, in isolation, I liked some stuff about it, but how it played into the whole, something didn't click with me. Like it didn't click all together. Like there are some books that like, not to bring up, well, actually to bring up Stephen Graham Jones.
We couldn't go without bringing him up. It's only fair.
Stephen Graham Jones is my Joe Abercrombie for Lana. So there are books, specifically Leadfeather and The Least of My Scars, that I'm like, what the hell is going on? I enjoy what's happening. I have no idea what's happening, but then you get to a point, a very particular point, where literally it just clicks. Well, not literally, but it just feels like you have that light bulb or kind of switching into place where everything fits together and everything makes sense. And the stuff that you read before is just, you see the context of it and the implications of it. And I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I'm going to be one of those people. I feel that way about Malazan. Like, I haven't read the whole series. I'm still learning. But the first book, I had no idea what was going on. And then the second book, it just all so much better. And now I love it.
I still need to read the second book.
Yeah. But, again, it's not a series for everyone. And so this one isn't either. But I totally get what you mean when it all just comes together.
Yeah.
Only okay. That hurts.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine, Urza. It's a good thing that I like you. Because otherwise I'd be so ticked right now.
I mean, this live show has proven that it is okay to have wrong opinions and you will still be accepted.
It's true. I haven't been kicked out of our group chat, so anywho, I feel like all I can say over and over again is I hate this book.
I have one last question for you. Did you hate or have any strong opinions about Three Seagrass and Mahit's relationship at the end? Or did it just kind of nah?
It was on one hand kind of meh. On the other hand, I was like, oh, that's sweet. And then on the other hand, I was just like, that kind of came out of nowhere. Like I was everything all at once. I'm like, wait, what? But at the same time, like, she kind of laid the groundwork in that they built up this relationship, and like, yeah. I would be intrigued to see where that went in the next book, because obviously he is going back to, or is going to be the ambassador or whatever, right? Did I get that right? Did I understand that right? And then yeah.
I was just gonna say, I don't, like Urza said, I thought it came out of nowhere. I don't, like, for me, I don't think it came out of nowhere, but it was like on the edge of Insta, but not quite there for me. I would have liked a little bit more setup. And that was my other, I would have liked this better if they did this thing. But I liked their friendship. So I felt like it was more of like a friends to lovers thing that wasn't fully fleshed out.
Yeah. that is one thing that we didn't talk about is the frickin' emperor.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I liked the. I liked it, but I was also confused. Again, is this book too smart for me? Is Arcady Martine too smart for me? Probably, because I did not grasp a lot of the stuff that was going on. But so he had a clone of himself. The Emperor did. Is that right? And it was like a small child, and he was going to place an imago of himself into the child. Like, was that it? Was that like his thought process and why he kind of succumb to what's his face's what's their face? Oh dear God.
8 something.
Yes.
Yeah. I like how I said it helped me remember stuff more, and then now that we're talking about it, I can't remember some of the names.
30 Larkspur? Is that it?
Yes, 30 Larkspur.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of 8 Loop, but that's not the. Yeah. 30 Larkspur wanted to take over.
I mean, on one hand, yes, but on the other hand, I tried to suspend my disbelief because 1, it's fiction, 2, it's sci-fi, and 3, she is this ambassador, so like she not only studied Texkalani culture, but at the same time, like there's a difference between studying something, and I think Martine even mentions it in the text that there's a difference between studying something and actually living it or experiencing it. So
and
that's
she
why
was
I kind of
in love with it before she even got there.
Right, and then she was in love with it through the poetry and because of the poetry, I think, and that's another interesting like aspect of it. God, am I going to convince myself to like this book?
Maybe just bump it up a little.
Yeah, 3 stars. It's fine. It's this. She kind of falls in love with this culture through the poetry, which is so subjective in its interpretation, and at the same time, this aspect of the culture, the usage of poetry as language and communication it's only held by those higher echelon people to maintain control. So it's this, I don't know, it's there's something there that I think is really interesting.
Yeah, and I feel like with this book, even if I don't remember specific plot points, I feel like some of the themes have really stuck with me.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a good book for making you think and good discussion and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. The Emperor's Sacrifice, I was like, oh God. Oh wow, this is really descriptive. Oh dear God.
The first time I read it, it was like, oh dear.
Oh.
That's what it was.
I mean, it makes you think. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, correct. She's an ambassador without the protections that go with the colonial. To replace the last guy, she's pretty sure got killed for having the job she's taken over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think I just kind of suspended my disbelief a little on that, and then, like we said, she was just so fascinated and in love with it that, yeah.
Well, it kind of reminded me, and I forgot about that. I forgot that I kind of thought about this as I was reading until just now. Is that Lucy or Oliver? Sorry.
Lucy.
What I imagine the American experience is, there's this kind of idealization of the US and the American experience and the American dream, and then folks get here and it's like, what is this? Like,
yeah, definitely.
like, I don't want to say disillusionment, but like
kind of eye-opening.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes too, we get this picture in our head of how something is, and then when you actually get there, it's not quite what you thought it is.
Yeah.
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 I thought that was a nice irony there.
Yeah.
It was just such an epic, brutal scene.
Yeah. Anywho, on that note, I have nothing. Like, I feel like I've.
Do you feel like this was a good therapy session for you? And
it wasn't as ragey and ranty as I thought I was going to be, but you know, we turned it around at the end, and I saw its value. I mean, I always saw its value, obviously. I understand why people like it, but I am slightly convincing myself that I didn't hate it as much as I did. And when I say I hate it, I'm being hyperbolic. I really didn't like actually hate it. It didn't work for me. So, but I'm convincing myself that maybe it worked a little bit more than I thought it did. So, still won't continue with book 2. So, sorry guys. On that note, July's book pick will be much more successful because I already finished it and I loved it. So
it'll also be a reread for me.
I might reread it again before we do that live show, because I immersion read it with Kate Redding's narration, and it was absolutely glorious.
Yeah, so, it's a fun one.
So good. Yes. Anywho, thank you, Dragons. Yes. Thank you for joining. Sorry that you guys had to deal with my crackhead energy, but I mean, if you join this chat and you are subscribed to my channel and know me at all whatsoever, you know that is inevitable. So thank you everyone for joining in chat. Thank you for trying to convince me that this is much better than I thought it was, which you guys were slightly successful. So thank you. Thank you, Stephanie, for joining. I really appreciate it. Thank you for joining the chaos. So, or at least enabling my chaos. So,
you know, we're always here for it.
Yes, I will give Max a hug for you. We went on a walk today, so he is pooped out.
Oh.
So, yes. But he did get a munchkin, so.
Oh, well, there you go. Yes, me too. Soon.
Maybe I was gonna say maybe you can buddy read it with Stephanie. So let's schedule that later.
Right.
All right, but thank you again, everyone, for joining in chat. Thank you, Stephanie, for joining. We haven't planned the live show for the July pick, but if you're reading A Natural History of Dragons for Shelf Space, feel free to join us for that live show. That's going to be on Kate from the Literary Apothecaries channel. So if you want to hear me gush about something, incoherently, it's going to be the opposite of this, where I won't be able to describe how much I love something. So tune into that. He only does better on that walk, or he only did good on this walk is because it was so hot outside. And he was just like, I'm dying, which was also me at the time. So anywho, thank you again. I'm going to do the Midwest goodbye thing or Southern goodbye thing. It's really everywhere. It's just saying bye and then staying on for another 5 minutes. So have a good day. Hopefully you guys all have some good books planned. I guess, how do outros work? Anyways, bye.